All right, so let's go ahead and work out this probability problem. Suppose you have three jars with the following contents. Jar 1 has 1 white ball and 2 black balls. Jar 2 has 4 white balls and 1 black ball. And jar 3 has 4 white balls and 1 black ball. One jar is to be selected and then 1 ball is to be drawn from the selected jar. Well, we know these probabilities, so they're given respectively. We want to find the following. What is the probability that the ball was drawn from jar 1 given the ball is white? All right, so there's a lot of information. Let's go ahead and draw. Something like this, you always want to draw a picture because it's possible to actually draw one. So you have three options. So let's say this is our jar 1, jar 2, and jar 3. So ignore my drawing. They're not so much like a jar, but let's suppose they are. So for the first jar, we have 1 white ball, let's call it W, and 2 black. Second jar, we have 4 white and 1 black ball. And the third jar, we are given that there are 4 white and 1 black. Let's go ahead and figure out the tree diagram. So 3 jars, so you have 3 options. Let's call this jar 1, jar 2, jar 3. You're given that the probability of selecting the first, second, and third jar are 1/2, 1/3, 1/6. So selecting the first jar is 1/2. Second jar is 1/3, and the third jar is 1/6. So that's what we're given right here in this statement. Okay, so now for each jar, we have 2 options. So first jar has 2 options. You have either a white or a black balls. There is 1 white ball, so the probability that it is white ball is 1 out of total, which is 3. And then probably getting a black ball, that's 2 out of 3. Similarly, for the second jar, you also have 2 options, white ball and a black ball. There are 4 white balls, so the probability is 4 out of 5 because there's a total of 5 balls. And probability choosing a black ball, that's 1 out of 5. And the last jar, we have, again, 2 options. So a white ball and a black ball. Now there are 4 white balls, so this is 4 out of the total 5, and this is 1 out of 5. So we got the probabilities down. Now we can answer the question, formulate this mathematically. Find the probability that the ball was drawn from jar 1, given that the ball was white. So we're looking for probability that it is jar 1. So let's call it jar 1, given. So maybe I want to write jar 1 is for, let's say J1, given that it was a white ball. So let's call W. So let J1 stands for jar 1 and W is for white balls. Okay, so this is a conditional probability. This can be written as probability of jar 1 and it's a white ball divided by probability that it is a white ball. Here you apply the Bayes theorem because there are 3 different jars will contain the white ball. So we're going to look at this branch, this branch, and this branch. So if you haven't seen a Bayes theorem video, I have done a simpler one in a separate video. I'll link the video in the description box so you can watch that. So pretty much here, we're also using Bayes theorem. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. So we have probability of J1 and W divided by probability of W. Well, that's the first branch. So that's probability of W and jar 1 plus probability of W and jar 2 and plus the probability of W and jar 3. So those are the 3 branches I highlighted on the. So what are these probability? So the probability it is jar 1 and W. So that's the first branch. So that is 1/2 times 1/3 over all of these probabilities. So that's branch 1, branch 3, and branch 5. So this would be probability of W and jar 1, that's 1/2 times 1/3, plus probability it is white and jar 2. So that's this one right here. We multiply these probabilities, 1/3 times 4/5, plus, and the last piece, it is this one right here, the last branch. We're selecting for W, jar 3, and it is white. So that's 1/6 times 4/5. And then we just simply, I'm sorry, it's not 4/5. Yeah, it's 4/5. So let's go ahead and multiply these out. So this is equal to the probability of 1 over 3 times 2, that's going to be 6 over, this is 1/6 plus 4, 3 times 5, that's 15, plus 4 over 30th. And then if you combine these on the denominator, you'll have 17 over 30, or you can simply put this in your calculator and 1/6 on the numerator. If you simplify this, this is 5 over 17. That's the fractional value for this probability problem. In decimal, you will get about, so 5 over 17, this gives you about 0.2941. So that's the answer to this problem. It's the probability that the ball was drawn from jar 1, given that the ball was white. Right, so I hope this helps. Take care.